What's up everybody, welcome to Money Management channel. My name is Andrei and today I'm gonna be doing an update on MMTLP and Finner Saga.
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gonna live it up.
And for today's video guys, I have a really amazing news. First of all, I will begin today's video with an update from Scott Roth in regards to his interactions with Greg McCabe, Wes Christian and John Burda. I will show you some questions that are still unanswered. I will show you quite interesting information about the broker-dealers. And the most important part of today's video will be the investigation of one of the community members in regards to the share count. So, and before we dive deep into all of this, guys, please hit the like button for YouTube algorithm and drop me a line in the comment section if you think my videos are valuable for you. So, and let's begin today's video with the several tweets that were written by Scott Roth. He wrote this 20 hours ago. What happens when it turns out that most of the social media shills on Team Pump and Dump end up being traceable to the McCabe or Wes Christian or John Burda? Through the three stooges cabal. Greg McCabe communicates through James Garcia, Julie J or Jen Capella. And why is this? Jay and Garcia routinely toot their day interactions with him. So what gives, folks? And what happens under oath? For the record, McCabe never responded to the request to see his books nor any of the questions below. And Scott added several screenshots. One of them is the screenshot that requests the information about this set of accounts of Due Diligence, Busy Brands, Junk Savvy and other community members. On top of that, he added these questions that he wrote to Greg McCabe just a week ago. And he, let me quote you this. Greg, do you know who the real Greg McCabe is on X? Second question. James Garcia has stated publicly that he was in contact with you about the letter and that the attached letter is authentic and is from you. Is it accurate? Number 3. Is James Garcia under a non-disclosure agreement with you? A non-complete non-disclosure, a secrecy agreement or any confidentiality agreement of any kind with you, NextBridge Hydrocarbons or any of your other companies? Number 4. Are you aware of any of your employees or social media influencers who act as your unofficial spokespersons? Julie J, Jen Capella, Matt Alberts, Trevor Smellan, Jacob Simitian, having contact with real Greg McCabe? And if so, who and when? And number 5. Did you have any contact with Wes Christian regarding suing me in Texas State Court, and if so, on what dates? So guys, I have to admit that Scott has the right to ask any questions and basically I have to admit that Greg McCabe has an obligation to answer at least partially these questions because he has a fiduciary duty. And Scott, guys, let me remind you that he's a shareholder. That is why, guys, Greg McCabe has an obligation, has a fiduciary duty to perform his activity in the right way. And let me show you some tweets in response to this tweet that was written by other community members. Busy Brands wrote this. I am shaking in my boots. Oh my god, you finally got me. Not Almao. Fruitcake, good luck on your bank mission, but we got bigger throats to fry. You were just the appetizer. And Scott responded to him. No, Slitherback, your pump and dump history and conduct in MMTLP and MULN are going to be a cautionary tale to those who follow. What happens when McCabe finally gets the hook? And guys, to be honest, I prefer to see very polite interactions in between community members. Even if you don't like your counterparty, it doesn't mean that you can attack them. That is why, guys, please be very polite in this case. On top of that, I want to show you another quite interesting tweet that Scott wrote again just several hours ago. MMTLP community, tell me you cooked the books for NextBridge Hydrocarbons without telling me you cooked the books for NextBridge Hydrocarbons, reporting $45 million in asset value on empty wells. Burda bing bada boom. And he added the screenshot of, I guess it is an official statement of NextBridge Hydrocarbons that was made I don't think that it is an official statement. I think it is some kind of screenshot from his litigation, and he mentioned about the value. Under the paragraph 38, it says, in the registration statement, NBH represented in its financial statements that its oil and gas assets were worth $45,663,480 as of December 31st of 2021. And guys, we know that unfortunately, university lands doesn't have oil, and this number was at least questionable, I would say. But at the same time, guys, we have a lot of discrepancies and we have a lot of questions that no one wants to answer. And that is why, guys, all these questions should be asked in court. And Scott is pursuing exactly this path to the resolution. And I have to admit that time will tell, will he succeed or not. And every one of us, if this case is succeeding, every one of us will succeed as well. So let me show you another quite interesting set of tweets, and X Market News wrote this. The complete 180 done by Representative Ralph Norman needs to be studied. How did he go from asking our Gensler about MMTLP at a public hearing, leading a letter with 70 other congressional members regarding MMTLP, and appearing on Charles Payne's show multiple times to discuss MMTLP, to completely stopping any mention of MMTLP, blaming the whole situation on CEO, who don't have control over counterfeit shares, even though the SEC states their legal action has nothing to do with MMTLP? Did he just do this as a stunt to get more votes during the election year? Did hedge funds get to him? And guys, again, we have a lot of questions that Representative Ralph Norman should answer. But unfortunately, guys, he is extremely silent in our case, despite the fact that a lot of community members on a daily basis publish a lot of questions in his Twitter account. So it is what it is, and that is why, guys, this is another shady part of our story. On top of that, guys, let me show you quite promising update. Here is another tweet that was written by X Market News just 12 hours ago. Breaking: Donald Trump spotlights GameStop and AMC theaters. The president of the United States reposts a post praising the GME and AMC community for exposing Wall Street corruption. Who thinks MMTLP should be added to that list? And guys, definitely Donald Trump and his team know about the problems on the US stock market, and he is involved in this saga through his own company DJT. And by the way, guys, let me remind you that DJT case is connected to MMTLP case. And let me show you again this letter that was written by Devin Nunes, where he mentioned about the MMTLP case as well. He added this part. The other attached letter signed by 74 members of Congress and relating to a separate incident of possible market manipulation, potentially including naked short selling, suggests that TMTG's experience is not unique. And yes, guys, I think if this case, I mean GME, AMC, and even DJT case will go much further, I think our case will also have a lot of chances to see the resolution. So let me show you that for now. Let me show you this set of tweets. Kristen Shaughnessy published this 16 hours ago in response to her own tweet that he made on February 21st. And this post explains that let me quote to this, can't wait for the comments to this post. Market makers are paying big money for payment for order flow, $943 million in 9 months. That's how much Citadel Securities paid for retail US equity options order flow from April to December of last year, according to Global Trading. Global Trading also reports Susquehanna paid $352 million and Wolverine paid $277 million for options order flow. Virtu spent $185 million and Jane Street $141 million for retail orders. And guys, definitely these actions are quite shady, because with these payments they receive a lot of data, a lot of let's say kind of insiders data of the actions of the activity on the stock market that is made by retail investors. And because of this information they can easily manipulate the market, because guys, think of it like this: they have a business, they have quite profitable business, and if they pay for just 9 months almost $1 billion, it is one company, just one company paid almost $1 billion. Imagine how much money did they make with this information. I think the number is tremendous. And Kristen Shaughnessy, in response to her tweet, wrote this. She reminded us the following: remember when Citadel and Virtu argued against payment for order flow? It's banned almost everywhere else in the world. So it's interesting that ever since Citadel and Virtu have had access to the data that have fought hard in favor of PFOF, and we are willing to pay hundreds of millions for the data. And yes, they changed their narrative right after they were allowed to have this information and to pay for order flow. And yes, again, this is a quite shady part of the entire US stock market. So, and let's take a look at this tweet, and this is the most interesting part of today's video. On my yesterday's video I showed you that Trader Zero announced his investigation, and this is part 1 of his investigation, guys. He published it, wait a second, just wait a second, right here, several minutes ago, literally less than an hour. And let me show you, let me quote you this in details. MMTLP: why broker share count audit and Wes Christian isn't the answer, and what is? The MMTLP share count is exactly 163,258,152. You won't get the right answer when the wrong people ask the wrong places the wrong questions. The MMTLP community has relentlessly called for an audit of brokerages to uncover and overage allegedly hidden or counterfeit shares that are a result of naked shorting and or ever lending. However, the broker level reports from December 22 of 2022, the community obtained confirms a total of 163.258 million shares, matching the issued and outstanding shares recognized by NextBridge Hydrocarbons and Equinity. There will never be more than this, no matter who counts them. The thought leaders in this community refuse to understand or even consider that an audited share count at every broker will not reveal additional shares, even if there are billions of naked shorts. This is because the broker inventories are already reconciled to the official share count. That is what the broker net sheet they have represents. Instead, counterfeit shares, if they exist, must be investigated through regulatory and market infrastructure audits at a deeper level. What a broker audit would confirm: the broker net sheet, NBH and Equinity were correct. A share count and broker audit can't be different than the number of the broker net sheet. There is no reason to count shares because the stock has never traded. The broker net sheet is the definitive aggregated audited share count. It is the official post-distribution ledger confirming no more shares exist in retail or institutional accounts beyond this figure. The BNS proves all MMTLP shares were properly allocated during the NextBridge transition. The BNS confirms lent-out shares are still accounted for within the total share count. A broker audit will not uncover counterfeit shares as a result of naked shorting, because they are obligations, not real issued shares. What examination would be needed to uncover the massive overage of shares? If synthetic, counterfeit or any name of excessive shares exist, they would be hidden within the market's clearing and settlement processes, requiring unprecedented market coordination to hide fraud, unprecedented third-party legal authority and lifting of privacy laws, and unprecedented forensic-level investigations at the following entities. 1. Deep forensic audit of market makers and prime brokers. A third-party investigator would have to be given the legal authority to examine short-selling records to determine if excessive short positions were created without legitimate locates. The investigator would need legal authority to review stock borrow records to see if shares were borrowed before being shorted. They would need the legal authority to investigate net settlement imbalances at the DTCC to determine if unsettled obligations exceeded issued shares. Expected outcome. After several years of court hearings, appeals, and possibly a SCOTUS ruling and/or new laws passed by Congress, they would likely learn that there was no excessive shorting that created an imbalance in supply and demand because publicly available trading data reflects those trading conditions did not exist. That said, they could still look if they could ever get past the massive legal battle. 2. DTCC stock loan and borrowing system audit. The same legal hurdles and challenges apply here. They have to analyze stock loan programs and SCC automated stock borrow program to determine if more shares were borrowed than physically exist in a low liquidity OTC ticker with no evidence in the trading data to warrant it. Review fails to deliver reports to assess settlement failures after FINRA has already stated it was around 285,000 shares and there is no evidence to refute it. Investigate continuous net settlement system data to track potential synthetic shorting. I am unaware of any community members claiming that options volume was abnormal. Expected outcome. Same as before. It could expose whether more shares were being lent and traded than legally existed, but the volume never came remotely close to the number of issued and outstanding shares. 3. SEC and FINRA enforcement actions on short-selling compliance. Cross-reference regulation SHO Rule 204 compliance to identify naked shorting. Investigate abuse of market maker exemptions that allowed excessive shorting. Review swap and derivative positions that mimic short sales but do not require actual share delivery. Expected outcome. More of the same. This would expose illegal naked shorting if it occurred, but you will still have to point to some form of data evidence to get court to allow this. Number 4. Examination of exchange, dark pool trading and OTC derivatives. Investigate swap agreements and synthetic positions held by hedge funds. Review dark pool transactions to determine if off-exchange trades bypass standard reporting requirements. Analyze high-frequency trading firms' internalized orders to check for the latest settlements. Expected outcome. This was an OTC ticker and not much of this was on play. It would expose structural imbalances in trading mechanics, but they weren't in play. The truth about what actions would not reveal naked shorts, counterfeit shares, etc. An aggregated audited share count and broker audit confirms known 163 million share total, but does not track synthetic and counterfeit obligations. And guys, it is quite interesting statement, and to be honest, I am a bit confused about this. So, let me quote you further. I don't know who coined the term aggregated audited share count, but I wonder if that individual was referring to the broker net sheets we now have access to. Retail share count petitions. Each brokerage is reconciled to the DTCC and AST right now, and the BNS sheets represent the final aggregated audit share count. FOIA requests to the SEC and counterfeit synthetic shares, naked shorts, no borrow FTDs exist and as contractual obligations, not as actual registered securities. Conclusion: where to focus the investigation? And this is the most important part. To truly uncover any synthetic, counterfeit or excess shorting in MMTLP without a decade of legal battles, the community could push the agencies for the following. However, there is zero trust of these agencies, so unless they came back with what they wanted to hear, they would just say they are lying. 1. A DTCC audit of borrowed shares versus the 165 million real float. 2. SEC and FINRA deep dive into market makers' short positions and exemptions, and we are asking for this for more than 2 years. 3. A forensic analysis of off-exchange dark pool trading activity. The evidence and money it would take to pay lawyers to go to federal court and for judge to jury to force market makers, hedge funds and clearing houses to disclose outstanding short and swap positions is astronomical. Getting the states behind the cause would be a huge help, but you still have to have some proof. Andrew redacts what he says is proof, but if he did, the ball would already be rolling. Action steps. Keep putting pressure on Congress and directly petition the NASSC, FINRA and SEC enforcement arms to take actions on naked short selling. Demand greater transparency in DTCC stock loan data and make it public. This is the only way you as individual traders can determine if there are shares beyond the legitimate 165 million allocation, and if there are, it will be the first time in history that it occurred, a major market bombshell, especially since there are thousands of other stocks that have better conditions. This is like robbing a bank when the teller line is full of cops in broad daylight. There has always been a very simple way to get real information from the SEC and FINRA without all of the legal hurdles and retail stress and emotional pain. If the community thought leaders weren't so invested in being right and not getting results, this could have been done anytime after the spin-off until right this minute. There is a reason that it wasn't done and continues not to be done, and it can only mean one thing. The next article will address this issue, and I hope some of you start to get pissed off and make noise. So guys, I think it is a real bombshell in our case, and I think we have to wait for the part 2 of his investigation and of his statements.
And guys, let me tell you my personal story. I have a wife and 2 children aged 11 and 15, as well as a small dog. After 30 years of living in Russia near the Baikal Lake, we decided to move. Now we reside in Serbia. Although I don't own any MMTLP shares, I invest a lot of time creating daily MMTLP videos. I have been doing this every day without days off and holidays for more than 1.5 years. Now I wish to buy back this time from my family, from my children. We've agreed that I will ask the MMTLP community to support me, and I will give all the money to the children. Therefore, if you believe that I am providing useful content for you and wish to support me, you can join my Patreon account. For $5 a month, I will add your name to my list of supporters if you wish. Thank you in advance. The link you can find in the description below. So, I think that's all information that I want to provide you. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, and see you guys and girls next time. Bye!
I got the cash in the bag, stadium packed. Born a rock star in this life, gone live it up on the attack.